I have studied about non-duality for a long time, and everything always comes back to this moment. Nothing to say, nothing to prove, nothing to gain, nothing to lose, no past, no future. All that is left is just a sense of being. My mind struggles with that because it keeps grasping. It's like I'm stuck in the habit of seeking, even though I know there isn't anything to find. I suppose I get bored with life and don't see the urgency in anything. Well, everyone else puts great importance on achieving or gaining. I feel like I'm in limbo. Yeah, it can be a little like that. There can be two reasons for it. No, actually there's only one reason for it. It's an issue with the solar plexus. So there is nothing to achieve in this life. There is just what's happening. But obviously we need to do things, otherwise we die. So we need to get the shopping, we need to tidy the house. And actually that's enough in itself, just the simple activity of doing these things. And there's some things that you'll like more than others. So there's some things that you find less pleasurable and some things more pleasurable. But when you're seeking, the seeking mind is always looking for contentment in what it's doing. So when it's cleaning the house, say if it really doesn't like cleaning the house, when it's cleaning the house, it feels like cleaning the house is taking away its freedom. Whereas actually, in the moment of cleaning the house, there is only cleaning the house, and if it's painful, if you don't like it, then it's just painful. It's not taking away your freedom, but this is an unconscious thing that goes on. And then when you seek to get pleasurable things, you believe that they're giving you freedom. So when you have pleasure, they're giving you freedom. And then you oscillate between the two, avoiding pain and getting to pleasure. When that begins to be challenged, it sometimes can affect the solar plexus because your whole life has been based on getting things, and those things having huge importance and huge drama. And as that gets challenged, then you can fall into hopelessness and a sense of depression or boredom or lack. And it's all to do with the solar plexus. So let me explain the solar plexus to you. So the solar plexus is the place of making decisions. Now I know that sounds really odd from a non-dual perspective, but we have the appearance of making decisions. So I have the appearance of being able to decide to, so I don't know, go back to England and visit my mum. I have the appearance of that choice. So that choice will come up and it will be contemplated, they'll be looking at tickets, and then the choice will be made or not made. Now, on the ultimate level, there's nobody who makes that choice, but there's the appearance of the choice that happens. There's the appearance of Lisa that makes a choice. But it's seen that those thoughts and impulses don't come from anywhere. And choosing is like really important for us as humans. So in some psychological circles, they would say that when parents haven't like encouraged the child to make its own decisions and to focus on what it wants. So when the parents, maybe if you had narcissistic parents that always focused on what they wanted and pushing their agenda and not encouraging the child to have strong boundaries and know what they want and believe that they can achieve what they want, then they sometimes call that like not developing the sense of self, like the person's got a weak sense of self. So in psychology, it's like really important to be able to distinguish this and to be able to have a strong sense of what you want. And it's not a personal thing, it's a natural activity that's arising for everyone, enlightened or not. But the solar plexus gets overly activated when identification happens because there's this added thing that pleasure, so your choice can lead you to a pleasure which will make you feel at home, and then it makes it like really high or really low, these dynamics. And the solar plexus goes from one side to the other, and I'll show you how it goes. So solar plexus in its positive is making choices, being able to discern what it is that you want and do not want, putting up boundaries, anger, but anger in a positive way, like anger that creates action. It's not a negative thing. Hopeful, helpful, feeling like you can do things, feeling empowered, direction, motivation, energy. And in its negative, the solar plexus, it's hopelessness, helplessness, boredom, stuckness, feeling like you can't make a choice, that you can't decide, you don't know what you want, lack of boundaries. And you can get excessive and deficient energies that respond to that. So you can get an excessive energy that is like a powerhouse that's always going out after what it wants, and it's just fixated constantly on getting what it wants. And this isn't imbalance, but and maybe you know those types of people that will do anything, that will sell your mother in order to get what you want. And then you've got deficient energies that don't have much energy there and kind of always feel like they can't do it and that they won't make it, and they don't have the energy to do it, and they can't choose, they can't decide, like indecisiveness. And you can have both of these personalities in you. It can go from one to the other. Some personalities are more focused on one or the other, and then sometimes it flicks between the two. And it's all the solar plexus area. And a lot of people struggle with this because, in a way, this area is what we'd call a sense of self. It is where your sense of self comes from, because really the sense of self is made up of what it is you want and the direction in which your life goes in. I know you maybe think your sense of self has a lot more to it, but that determines all the other factors, like if you're rich or poor or nice or happy or depressed or not depressed, or live here or live there. It determines a lot of factors if you go for what you want and if you know what you want. So I would work on that, and I don't think that it's a non-duality problem as such. Non-duality has sparked it because you have realized now that in all the things that you used to think would give you love, they won't give you love. So maybe it's now gone more into the depressive energy, and you simply need to work on that. I think on my website now I've added these chakra meditations from Osho, so you can do some chakra meditations. There's a book on there about chakras, and just getting to know that chakra, like seeing when you feel bored, like relating it back to that chakra and seeing the boredom, and when you when you've had it in the past, what it's related to, if it makes you feel helpless or stuck, like really investigate that area, and get to know it, like what's it saying, and when did you first start feeling bored? Are you a child or a teenager, and what have you done to try to escape that boredom? And really what the boredom most probably means is a fear of existence, like when you really break it down. A fear that this is it to existence. Your essence as no thing, as everything, doesn't contain any boredom. Boredom is totally a man-made thing on the human level. It's a thought process and energy. Thank you for your question, Alan. Thanks, Lisa. With pleasure.